Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2 and today I'm gonna be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto was appointed 6th Hokage after Nagato's defeat. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto became the Shadow of Konoha. And enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto went through the most difficult battle of his life, as he was making his way back after defeating Pain, as he really hoped that Hinata was alright. She was the first thought that went on his mind, as you remember, her jumping in to protect him, and even saying that she loved him. And Pain had stabbed her, and he went berserk. But it was then that he met his father, Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, who snapped him back into reality and told him about the masked man. So that he made his way. However, he came to a stop when he saw Hinata and Kakashi arrive, as the both of them gave him a smile, glad that he was okay, as everyone was brought back because of Pain Jutsu, as hundreds of them were gathered there, probably thousands, as they were cheering him on, calling his name, as Naruto was shocked, not used to this at all, as Sakura came over and hugged him, glad that he was okay, but angry that he did something so stupid. As Shikaku was called away, he was brought towards where Daimyo was, as they thought about possible people have become Hokage, seeing that Tsunade was out of commission. Danzo wanted it, but Shikaku was the one to place Naruto there instead, as Danzo allowed it to happen because once that boy fell apart and did everything wrong, he would just step in and take over. As they made their way back at the village, Naruto was helping with the rebuilding, as he spoke to Hinata a bit before Kiba arrived in a rush and told him the news that he heard. As Naruto was shocked he was the Hokage, as he couldn't believe it. Meanwhile, Sasuke was heading towards the Hidden Leaf. He was gonna destroy it for what they did. But he was stopped by Madara, who told him that Naruto was the new Hokage, while Zetsu told him. Madara would not let him pass, as the both of them battled, as Sasuke realized that he stood no chance, as that man Jutsu allowing him to pass through him really took a toll on Sasuke, as he was defeated. And with his defeat, he would listen to Madara and go towards the Land of Iron, as he had to change direction. With that, the Kumo team came towards Konoha, as they wanted to find Sasuke. They wanted information about him, as he took Killer Bee, as Naruto was called toward the summit at Land of Iron. Him and Kakashi and Neji made their way. Sakura and Sai and Hinata was facing off against the Kumo team that remained. Amoy, Karu were defeated rather quickly, as Sakura told them that she would just tell them about Sasuke if they had acted kindly, instead of attacking them, as she still couldn't believe that Sasuke had taken the ATL Jinchuriki. Now it made sense why Naruto made Sasuke missing Nin. It made sense to her now. With that, they arrived towards the Land of Iron, as a meeting commenced. The Akatsuki was sure a problem that they had to deal with it. Mifune wanted to elect someone the leader of the formal alliance that they created. The Raikage was too stubborn and too hot-headed. Unki, having dealings with the Akatsuki, including me, so he gave Naruto the position, despite him being young, but Naruto wasn't so sure if he could handle this. But Zetsu interrupted and told him that Sasuke was here, as chaos ensued as Raikage made his way and faced off against Sasuke, as Neji and Kakashi made their way, facing off against Sasuke and his crew as well. As Naruto sat there as he started gathering nature energy, preparing himself for the battle that was about to come. When he was done, both him and Gaara made their way as they saw Sasuke standing there fully armed as Sano, with a crazy smile on his face. As Sasuke rage blew away Karen and everyone around him, as he saw Naruto landing right in front of him. He told him that he was about to finish what they started at the Valley of the End, as he launched himself towards Naruto. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself. So this begins the new episode. Naruto met Sasuke charge as he shot forward as well. He dodged the punch that Sasuke launched towards him as he shifted into his frog kata. As Naruto spin his leg forward, Sasuke Sharingan could see it, but he was fast as he brought his arm in X motion. As Naruto kick connected in it, Sasuke was thrown back violently. Sasuke curses 3 of the bones in his arm snap at the kick. As Naruto moved towards him and sent a straight punch towards his face. Sasuke smirked as the Sharingan seat as he tilted his head. But then, an unknown force slammed into him as it threw him away. He crashed into the wall violently. Sasuke cursed. "What the hell hit me?" he said. As Naruto charged towards him again, he flashed to hand sign. "Shidori!" A clone poofed beside Naruto as his former Rasengan. As Naruto was in Sage mode as he slammed it in Sasuke's Shidori. Sasuke's eyes went wide when Shidori was instantly overpowered and he was thrown once again, crashing through the wall this time. Sasuke coughed up blood. "There is no way. He can't be stronger than me," he roared. His eyes changed into Mangekyou as his Susanoo ribs, an arm came out and blatted away the wall. Sasuke got to his feet. "You have gotten strong, Naruto, but this will be the same as the last time." Kakashi landed beside Naruto. "That's the Susanoo Naruto. It's the third of the Mangekyou Sharingan powers." "I see," said Naruto as Sasuke's Sharingan started to just spin ominously. As the Susanoo started to grow and gain more depth, Naruto bit his finger and went through hand sign. "Summoning Jutsu," he said. There was a poof. As Shima and Fukazaku were there, Shima had her hand set like she was dealing with food. As she looked around, "Naruto-chan, you better have a good reason for summoning me here during dinner time. I was making my favorite caterpillar, stir fry." "Ma, Naruto-chan will summon us for nothing important. You can finish cooking when you're finished here," said Pa. As Shima simply crossed her arms. "Fine," she said. "So what do you need from us?" she asked. As Naruto chuckled weakly as he pointed, "I'm fighting my former teammate Sasuke Uchiha. He has the Mangekyou Sharingan. I could use your help." "The Mangekyou Sharingan, huh?" said Pa. "Haven't seen one of those for about 60 years now." "Huh. And that's Susanoo." "Yeah, looks like it." Naruto blinked. "You fought someone with the Mangekyou Sharingan before?" "Yep, with one of the first human sages. He belonged to the Senju clan," Fukazaku said as the giant form of the Susanoo fully formed. Muscles started to grow as there was a purple aura around it. "I'm gonna crush you," Naruto, Sasuke said. "You can try," said Naruto as he created 2 clones. As Sasuke made a charge as Naruto and his clones run forward. As Sasuke's eyes started to bleed again, the Hokage and his clones started to move in a crisscross pattern to throw off his aim. Sasuke caught one of them in Yamateratsu as it cried in pain. One of the other Naruto grabbed it by flame, free hand and tossed it towards Sasuke. Sasuke's eyes widened as a burning clone slammed into his Susanoo and poofed away, bring the black fire down on his shield. Sasuke snarled as Naruto created a massive Rasengan, supermassive Rasengan with the clone help. The clone took it and leaped towards Sasuke as he jammed it right into the chest of Susanoo. Sasuke grunted in frustration as his creation started to be pushed back. The ribs started to crack. Sasuke roared out in rage as the arms of Susanoo was fully created and smashed into the clone, dispelling it. The Rasengan exploded violently, shaking the entire fortress, gaining the other Kage's attention as Naruto was run out of Sage mode. As Sasuke stood there, Sasuke smirked as he pushed even further as the face started to form on Susanoo as he started to gain skin and muscle. Sasuke launched 2 incredibly fast arrows at Naruto that split through the air as Naruto created an army of clones that took the arrows head on. As Pa blew out oil, as Ma blew out fire, a massive wave of burning oil was sent towards Sasuke. Sasuke cursed as his Susanoo was submerged, but he was being protected as he raised his arm as Susanoo raised his arm as well, blowing away all the burning oil. He fired 2 arrows as the toads leaped rather quickly, avoiding the arrows that ripped through the earth. One of Naruto's other clones burst away as Sage Mode refueled his body as he shot towards Sasuke. As Sasuke turned and fired, Naruto tilted his head just in time. To his surprise, the arrow scratched him despite being in Sage Mode. "The next is going to your head," Sasuke said as the 2 toads leap in the air. Sage Art, Frog Call, as they sent a pulse of chakra waves towards Uchiha. Sound waves. Sasuke attempted to fire but he could not move and his eyes widened in rage. Sasuke screamed as a massive cloak of armor came and wrapped around Susanoo, completing it. As Naruto created 2 clones that dropped smoke bombs. As Sasuke heard something, the smoke cleared away as Naruto stood there with his 2 clones holding Rusting shurikens over their head. What the hell is that, Sasuke thought, as he started to bleed badly from his eye even more. It doesn't matter. I'll kill him now as he formed 2 more arrows. As Naruto threw the Rasengan Shuriken first, as it was fast, as it slammed into Sasuke, Susanoo knocking away the arrow that slammed into the ceiling. The armor started to crack as the Rasengan Shuriken started to bore into it, and like glass, it shattered into a million pieces. As the Rasengan Shuriken burst right through the wall behind Sasuke, before ripping through one of the beams in the fortress as they went outside, and exploded in a shower of wind. Sasuke dropped towards his knees, panting heavily. He got back up to his feet shakily as he formed another Chidori. As Naruto leaped forward, as he slammed a smaller Rasengan Shuriken into Sasuke's Chidori, it tore apart Sasuke's Chidori and ripped into Sasuke's arm, tearing it up badly. Oniki and the others arrived just in time as they saw Sasuke slam into the wall as he coughed up blood and went unconscious. As Naruto landed, panting a bit. And I won, Sasuke. Now, it's time to, I'm afraid not. As a swirling vortex as someone stepped out of it. I'm afraid I still have use for Sasuke, Naruto. Standing in front of the assembled Hokages and their bodyguards was none other than man, Madara Uchiha, a Sharingan eye smiled towards them. Now, let us have a chat, shall we? While that was going on, in Konoha several things were happening. One of the main things, Danzo decided to move his root base out of Konoha. For now, he would leave Konoha into Naruto's hands, knowing that when the time comes, the daimyo will make the right choice. The journey to his new base will take several days. It was a terrain in far country. Little did Danzo know he was being watched, and not by a Konoha shinobi. Madara would be very interested in this new development. Black Zetsu thought as he poked himself out of a tree. Meanwhile, as Sakura was dabbing a cloth on Tsunade's forehead, as she was thinking about Sasuke and what he did, and now these Kumo ninjas were after him. To them, he was nothing but a bloodthirsty criminal. The seal on Tsunade's forehead started to regain color. As chakra was being gathered, Shizune was sure once the seal had been full, Tsunade would wake up. The flap of the tent opened, revealing Shikamaru. Shikamaru! Hey Sakura, gathering the rest of the group. All of us need to talk. Alright, where is she at? The lumber piles where the Dango shop used to be. As Sakura nodded, alright. Shortly, they had gathered, with the rookies and Team Guy. Sai was there including, and Hinata looked over at Shikamaru, who took a deep breath in. I'm sure that you all heard about the skirmish that Sakura, Sai and Hinata had with the Kumo ninjas. As everyone nodded, then I assume that you knew what they were asking about, correct? Information about Sasuke-kun, correct? Said Ino. As Shikamaru nodded. Why were they asking about that, she asked. Sasuke has become an international criminal now. That's why, said Shikamaru. He invaded the Land of Lightning borders and attacked one of their best shinobis. Not only that, he's part of the Akatsuki now. What? That doesn't make any sense, Kiba yelled. Why would that idiot join the same organization his brother was in? Maybe someone influenced him to join after he killed Itachi, Shino said. As he pushed up his glasses, we did fight that Tobi Akatsuki member. Maybe he had something to do with it, said Hinata, as Shikamaru nodded. Whatever the reason, his crimes cannot be ignored anymore, Shikamaru said, as he looked at his friends and teammates. Due to pain invasion of Konoha, the village would never accept Akatsuki back in their ranks. Not only that, if Konoha doesn't do anything, it could lead to war with Kumo. Shikamaru, what are you saying, said Tenten? We have to take responsibility for Sasuke. We're gonna have to hunt him down and kill him. Ino and Sakura eyes widened. Shikamaru, you can't be serious. You're joking, right? Said Ino. Ino, I think you know perfectly by now. When Shikamaru is serious, said Choji. I agree. I do as well, said Shino. Sasuke has crossed the line which there is no coming back. Sakura breathed in as the rest of them started to agree about what to do with Sasuke. As all of their eyes then turned towards her, she gulped a bit. Yes? Sakura, what do you think? Sasuke was your teammate, Ino said, as she was one of the few that did not agree with this at all. Sakura took a deep breath. If we had reached Sasuke before he fought Itachi, I would agree. But now, as she closed her eyes, hoping that she made the right decision, Sasuke threatening the peace of the world has to be stopped, she said. Shikamaru nodded. I see. As he closed his eyes, Naruto is Hokage now. He has other things to worry about than Sasuke. We have to deal with him. He's our responsibility. As Sakura breathed out, hoping that you're doing the right thing about this. When Naruto returns, I'll tell him. He's my friend and teammate, Sakura said. As Shikamaru nodded. Got it, Sakura. Meanwhile, at Iron Country, Madara Uchiha stood in front of the 5 Kages, a Sharingan glowing in that one single eye hole. He glanced down at Sasuke and the other members of his team. He then looked towards Naruto and behind his mask he smirked. Well, it happened sooner than I expected, and you two did end up fighting, said Madara. As he picked up the unconscious Sasuke and placed him on his shoulder, Sasuke's hand was bleeding badly from the wounds inflicted on him by the rusting shuriken. Tuh, you got too overconfident, Sasuke. Get your hands off Sasuke, you snake, said Naruto, as a cloak flared to life. I work a long time to get him on my side, so I think not, said Madara, as he sucked Sasuke into his eye. So close yet again, weren't you, Naruto? As Naruto clenched his fist tight. Shut the hell up, he said, as a split appeared right in his toad-like eye, giving that plus feature. As he shot towards Madara, a red color Rasengan instead of a basketball was created right in his palm as he slammed it through Madara. He literally passed through him. The second he did though, he turned and delivered a roundhouse kick towards Madara's face. Madara raised his arm to block, but it wasn't fast enough, as the top half of Naruto's feet smashed into the upper half of Madara's mask. As it was White Zetsu that came on the wall and stopped his momentum from crashing the wall. You okay, boss? White Zetsu said, as it was a cracking sound that appeared as it was on Madara's mask. Yes, Zetsu. I'm fine, said Madara. Behind his mask, his nose and his mouth was bleeding. Again and again you always show me why you mess up my plans. Now I see why Nagato sided with you in the end. Hundreds of White Zetsu started to drop from the ceiling like water droplets. They landed with a splash and then reformed their human forms. So much for the greatness of the Hokages, Zetsu said, as White Zetsu started to bubble up from Unki's, Akatsuki, me, Eo, and Kojo's body. They tried to get through to Gaara's shield, but they were crushed by his sand. Neji destroyed them with a Jayugen strike. He ripped them off with his lightning. The one appearing on Naruto turned to stone as it dropped and broke. Madara went over to the weakened Karen who was being held up by Jugo. You three, take good care of Sasuke, he said, as he sucked the three of them into his dimension, Suigetsu included, as his mask was still cracking a bit. So, he sat down. Shall we talk? I'm holding all the cards here. As Naruto's anger started to flare, Kakashi placed a hand on his shoulder. Calm down, Naruto. He's trying to bait you. As Naruto took a breath. What did you do to Sasuke? And what was all that crap that he was spouting? I'm just maturing the dark seed that Itachi planted to be inside of him. Madara said that smirk behind his mask. All that hatred, it's easy to manipulate. Orochimaru knew that too. The instant he corrupted Sasuke was the instant he became my subordinate. Orochimaru nurtured that pesting hatred that Itachi planted, and I nurture it and suit it into my own needs. You lied to him to get him on your side, said Neji, as he kept his Byakugan on Madara. Mixing a bunch half truth and half lies are easy for me. Like the truth that the Uchihas were killed by Itachi to save Konoha and the rest of the world. The Uchiha was going to start a civil war inside of Konoha, starting with bombings, seeing that they were being denied their power that they deserved, said Madara. I had a hand in that. To make a long story short, though, Itachi was forced to choose between his village and his clan. And he chose the village and took the Uchiha's sin onto himself, waiting to be clean and cleansed of it in the future. Oniki chuckled. This is all very fascinating, Madara, if that is who you really are. If you really are who you say you are, why are you going through these lengths? With your power, you should be able to do anything you want. And that doesn't bar invading a village. Yes, Oniki, I see that you're still alive. The injuries that I have sustained from the battle with Hoshirama and Minato Namikaze has crippled me, and my favorite pet is beyond my grasp at the moment. As he looked towards him with a smirk, his Zetsu army was on guard waiting for his command to move. At the moment, the Akatsuki and the Kyubi are the two that I lack. I thought you already captured my brother, said A in shock. I guess I was fooled, because he escaped. After all, your brother's a quite crafty ninja. Now as I was saying, turn the Akatsuki and the Kyubi over to me, and we won't have any conflict. Why do you need the Biju anyway, said me. Oh, I'm going to recreate the Jubi with all of the Bijus, the 10-tailed beast that the Sage of Six Paths defeated nearly 3,000 years ago. It's all a plan to become complete, if you will. Jubi, the Sage of Six Paths, those are just myths. Everyone knows that, Oniki said. What is your real objective? I assure you, Tishikage, the Jubi and the Sage, they were quite real. The Sage of Six Paths, the strongest being to ever live on this planet, master of the Rinnegan, left behind a tablet that the Sharingan, the Mangekyo Sharingan could decode, and the Rinnegan could fully decode it, as his mask continued to crack. And once I gather all the 9-tailed beasts, I will start the Eye of the Moon plan, where I will become the new Jubi Jinchuriki. Then I will cast Eternal Sukium over the planet, and end all conflict and bring peace, and destroying free will in the process, said Gaara. That's a small price to don't bullshit us, said Naruto, as he cut the man off. You don't want peace. You just want domination. True, true, said Madara as he folded his arms. I have several Biju under my control, and minor nations favors. If you refuse, this means war. You won't get what you want, bastard, said Naruto, as the other Kages nodded in agreement. Very well. Then I declare war on you all, said Madara. The next time we meet, we'll be on the battlefield. Half of his mask fell, as part of his face was wrinkled like an old man. He then sucked himself away rather quickly, along with his Zetsus, as he was now gone. We can't let him get what he wants, said A. I hate to say it, but you're right. So what can be done about it, Onki said. I suggest we finalize a plan for the alliance. If any of the countries wish to survive, we have to unite under one banner, said Mifune. The Kage is not in agreement as Onki asked. Who should lead us? Konoha, said Mifune without hesitation, as well as a Hokage. He's proven himself to be fully worthy. I agree with Mifune's assessment, said Mi, as Gar nodded. Second, as he looked towards Naruto. I as well, said A. I'll do my best then, said Naruto. Though, I cannot do it alone. As Onki huffed, youth these days, this alliance won't last without people with more experience fighting Madara, Onki said. As he looked towards Naruto, let me meet this clear Hokage Dano. I don't like nor trust you, but you have experience fighting Akatsuki, and your village are veterans fighting them. That said, I'll stand with you, as well as a hidden stone. Very well, said Naruto. I swear it then, I won't fail you. As he looked down toward his stomach, I need to master the perfect Kyubi, and that jutsu, so I can end this all, he thought to himself. Time skip. C. The Raikage and Doruri finally came to a stop, where they had sensed a massive amount of chakra, and not to mention you couldn't miss a giant octopus. As they saw, Killer Bee picked up the sword. The Raikage looked both relief and pissed off at the same time. Killer Bee grasped the hilt of Samihata and his chakra was replenished. Hard to miss a blast like that, said Doruri, as he looked towards C. Ace started over in a quick run. B, do you have any idea how worried I was, he said, with pure rage on his face. I should give you an iron claw for this. As B backed away in fear, it looked like he was caught. Well, he did defeat that Akatsuki member though, so there was no sweating it, right? Time skip 2 days later at Konoha, as Naruto and the others entered through the gate. As the young Hokage saw the group, a lot of people were there. Banners of welcome home, good job. Thanks, he said, as the people welcomed their Hokage home. As Naruto saw a new Hokage tower, right at the base of the monument, Yamato got the tower all finished as he walked forward. Got it all finished, he said. Ready for the inspection? Thanks, Yamato Teiko, said Naruto as he walked forward. Sakura had a smile on her face as she waved towards him, but she was nervous. I'll tell him when he gets all things settled, she thought to herself, as she saw Hinata poking her fingers together. Go on, go talk to him. As Hinata took a deep breath, blushing as she was red. As she nodded slowly before making her way. Naruto can I accompany you to your office, she asked. Naruto smiled. I like that, he said, as she almost fainted, but she kept herself calm. Kakashi and Hinata was the one to escort him there as Neji had gone to get some rest. It was a carbon copy of the office, but, well, new. Even a similar desk, same type of chair. Well, Naruto, go on, said Kakashi. It's your chair now. As Naruto took in a deep breath, before he pulled out the chair and sat down. As he looked through the window behind him, before turning back around, you look great there, Naruto-kan, said Hinata, as he smiled at her. Thanks, he said, as he placed Hokage hat down. Now, where to start first? I believe that we have some financial documents to go over, as well as a message of the daimyo, and snappy medical reports, and the status of the hospital, the new one, said Kakashi as he brought the paperwork and placed on the table. Hope you can handle this. That's a lot, said Naruto. I think I can do it. No, I will do it. Well, time to get started, he said. Naruto-kan, I can help you if you want, said Hinata. Really? Thanks, he said, as she came behind the desk and started to help. Kakashi smiled as he saw a flash of Kushina and Minato. He left the room. With the war declaration, he didn't feel worried. The new generation time has truly come, Kakashi thought to himself. Time skip. Since Naruto came back, he has been rather busy. With the help of Hinata and his clones, he was able to divide financial records and military records. He was also training in spare time, but he didn't have a way to train with the Kyubi just yet. He settled for extending siege mode time and decreased time that it takes to enter it. Danzo had also left, so he can plan his attack towards the Akatsuki without being held back by the alliance. He had left in secret, only Koharu and Homura knew that he was gone. At the moment, Naruto was on the training field. His eyes were closed and his legs were crossed. He was staying completely still. The orange pigmentation appeared on his eyes as he opened them. He then looked at the watch on his wrist, brought the time down to change into 2 minutes, he said. Now to see how long I can stay in it. Meanwhile, in the part of Konoha where Naruto had fought pain in 6 tails, Hinata had her beacon activated as she was looking for something. There has to be some of it left here, she said, as she made her way. Deep down, several shards of the green crystal that Naruto used to wear in his neck that was shattered by the Kyubi. She carefully picked them up as she placed them in a bag she brought with her. Alright, she said, as she then looked towards the place where she confessed her love to Naruto, and made her blush, as she made her way off with the shards. In another part of the village, Sakura was training, trying to put off talking to Naruto about what their teammates have, well, decided to do about Sasuke. She threw punch after punch, trying to increase her speed in taijutsu, and her strength as well. All around her was destroyed rocks and destroyed trees. She panted as she went through hand sign, earth style. Mud, flowing river, she said, as the earth came up like a mud storm and rushed forward as it destroyed several trees. Sakura wiped her forehead. I need to get stronger, she thought to herself. Her teammates were so much stronger. Naruto and Sasuke were beyond her, and she needed to catch up with them. I need to find Kakashi Sensei, she thought to herself. Meanwhile, in his office, the clone had poofed away, giving Naruto the sage mode. As he started to write, there were several broken pens at first. The writing with the sage mode on had snapped the pens in his hand, but now he was calm. Because when it comes towards everyday purposes, he had to remain calm. Sage mode grants so much strength, he actually overused it when he wrote too much. As Naruto mentally counted the time to 5 minutes, as he kept on writing, as he went up to 6 minutes in the sage mode, as he kept on writing. The sage mode then left him as he looked towards the clock. He smiled. Now got try for 7, then 10, he thought, as he saw Kakashi at the window. Yo. Hey sensei, too cool to use the door or something, said Naruto. Yeah, well, I have something for you, he said as he entered. What is it? As his sensei handed him some 3 bleached kunai. What are these? Those are the kunais the 4th Hokage used in his Harashin technique that he used to deflect a blast from the Kyubi against Konoha 16 years ago. Naruto's eyes widened in awe as he lifted one of the kunai. Dad used these? They earned him name of Yellow Flash. I think you'd want you to have them, said Kakashi. As Naruto turned, has anyone else been able to figure out this jutsu, he asked. No, the 4th was the only one that mastered this, to this degree. As Naruto gripped the kunai, just watch Dad, I'm gonna surpass you, he thought. Meanwhile, at the Akatsuki hideout, Sasuke, Jugo, Karin, and Suigetsu were dropped out of the vortex. As Zetsu emerged from the ground, his amazing position, the plan went off without a hitch. Excellent, said Madara. As Madara went over towards the table as he discarded his broken mask, and he reached for another and put it on. How is Sasuke healing, girl? He's almost at full health, said Karin, as Sasuke pushed himself up. What was that last technique that Naruto used? Sasuke thought to himself, as he remembered being crashing into the wall, and then nothing more. Sasuke cursed as he remembered about 5 months ago, when he and Naruto had met up at Orochimaru lair, and Naruto couldn't even fight him then, and now, he defeated him. There's also something else. You're gonna like this, Sasuke. What is it? Asked Madara. Danzo is on the move, and completely vulnerable as well. He's heading to a new base with his roots, and the Fire Nation border mountain. Sasuke's eyes shifted to the mountain Sharingan right away in nothing but rage. Where is he now, said Sasuke, as his teammates stepped back at the display of power. He's 100 kilometers away from Konoha, Black Zetsu said. You better wait until he's further away from the village, if you want to attack Sasuke. I agree, said Madara. Listening, Sasuke anger. You will get your shot, Sasuke. Let him move away from Konoha a bit more, so that you can go all out without being interrupted. Sasuke breathed in. Very well, he said, as he simply made his way off, clenching his fists. This time, he wasn't going to lose again, he thought to himself. Madara vanished away from the room using his jutsu, as he reappeared to get his statue. Several Bijus were sealed inside of it, as he squeezed his hand in a fist. As his Mangekyo Sharingan sprang to life, as he linked himself with the statue, its mouth slowly opened as he stepped back as chakra came out of it. As the chakra then formed, a bug-like creature, it was none other than Nanabi. First shot of this war will be mine, and I have the perfect target, he thought to himself. Immediately controlling the 3rd, strongest Biju with his Sharingan. Then he sucked it in, and the perfect target is. With that, he sucked himself away with the Nanabi as well, in the vortex that he created. Timeskip. Fire Country. Railway Hub. Ever since the Snow Country developed the steam engine 40 years ago, the Land of Fire had been the subsequent founder of steam technology. Dozens of train track was in the hub of the Fireway Country. At the railway, all the train that moved around from here went to most of the countries in the area. Thousands of workers were moving around, as there was going to be an influx of things that would be sent through for the upcoming war. Just as the first locomotive pulled up with hundreds of samurai, Madara arrived at the outskirts. He smirked as he saw the pitiful defensive that surrounded the hub. Only a few royal samurais. Konoha Shinobis weren't even here yet. Perfect, he thought. As he released the Nadabi, as he sent it towards the railway hub, the massive insect smashed into the railway. It smashed its horn through the ground, destroying many equipment, and people were sent sailing away. It gave a loud roar as it ripped up the railways and destroyed buildings. The trains were sent straight up in the sky, and when they dropped, they exploded as the boilers ruptured. As there could be no defending because the attack was so swift and quick, explosion, fire, and chaos was everywhere. Within minutes, the Nadabi opened its mouth wide and a green vortex of chakra appeared over its mandibles. It then fired a blast right where the people were trying to flee to. The menacing ball dived into the ground before it exploded wildly. Everything for several kilometers were flattened. A large mushroom cloud was in the air. Madara smirked, completely unharmed due to his ability. Excellent, he said, as he sucked the Nadabi back into his dimension, as he himself vanished. All that was left was a massive crater. It was that the earth was struck by a giant meteor, wiping out everything. That would cripple the troop movements for months. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Sakura was walking down the street of Konoha, trying to find Kakashi. Shikamaru was shadowing her, as he wondered when would she talk to Naruto about their development, as he wondered if she was gonna have to make him do it. Sakura started to run and she saw Kakashi walking away from her down the street as he was reading his book. Kakashi-sensei, she said, as he came to a stop. Oi, Sakura, what's up, he said. I need you to train me, she said. As he raised his eyebrow at that, I need to get stronger, Kakashi-sensei. And Tsunade-sama is still unconscious, please. I need to get stronger. Sakura, he said. As he sighed, the only thing you taught me, she said, cutting him off, was a tree walking and the Genjutsu release. You've ignored me. In favor of Naruto and Sasuke, when I was a genin, you barely taught me anything. No new jutsus, no combat skills, no techniques, nothing. Well, you got a point, he said. Please, sensei, I need this. I don't want to be on the sidelines. When Naruto faces Sasuke, I want to help, she said. Very well, Sakura, he said. You didn't need to lay down that though, he thought. I will start teaching you ninjutsu and help you improve your taijutsu. Thank you, sensei, she said. Timeskip. It took several days for information to reach Konoha that the complete hub has been destroyed. The training hub was gone, as it would take several long months to restore it. Months that they need to focus on their troop lines. The southern and western hubs are untouched, but the chain were broken. The daimyo had declared a state of emergency and agreed with Naruto about the Shinobi alliance. The power of one Biju was enough to convince him, as well as the other daimyos. As Naruto had quickly called an emergency meeting of the Hokages, it took a few days for them to arrive, and when they did, the meeting went underway. Our total amount of soldiers we have been able to get ready for the war is nearly 10,000, said Mifune. I'm organizing 5 more legions in case we need them. That gives us a total army of nearly 80,000, said Naruto, going over them. The allied Shinobi forces would be mobilizing from Kumo, which had the largest army of the 5 nations. All the villages that had combined armies. Kumo had placed in 20,000 Shinobis into the war. The Stone had placed in 16,000. Konoha and Kiri both together had placed in 12,000 each, and the Sand had lent 10,000. All the villages kept 5,000 back home, just in case they came under attack. Killer Bee has already been sent to the hiding place. He thinks that he's having a vacation, he said as Naruto nodded. We're ready to send you there whenever you're ready, Hokage Dano. Naruto nodded. I'm putting Kakashi in charge of the village while I'm away. Hopefully Tsunade-sama will awaken soon. We need your experience and abilities in this war. Oniki offered that she would probably call for the Akatsuki and yourself to stay on the battlefield instead of doing the smart thing. She would have a point, said Naruto, but that is not the issue here. If that is all, Gaara said, I believe that we are finished for the day. I need to make sure my village is prepared for any assaults at 8, as others nodded. We will meet up at Kumo in 5 days. From there, I'll depart towards this island, said Naruto, as he got nodded from all of them. After they left, Naruto went to do some more training before they finished. Just as he finished stretching, there was a poof and he was gone. As he arrived to see many bugs in front of him, Naruto-chan, here for dinner, said Shima. I always make too much and Paul will be here soon. As Naruto looked sick, as he smiled politely at Shima though. Hey Granny Shima, I'm back. As Naruto heard the voice as he was about to ask, why was he here? As someone entered, as Naruto was shocked because a person looked like Jiraiya. He was wearing a grey shirt and blue pants. You're home early. I thought you said you'll be back from Taki in 3 weeks. Well, they're getting on to war Putin. I thought it would be a bad time to visit the hot springs there. The young man Tenko said as he looked towards Naruto, as he blinked. Oh yes, this is the first time that you two have met, said Shima, as she took in a breath. Due to the damn prophecy that the old geezer made, he never got to meet his father. Naruto-chan, this is Tenko, the son of Jiraiya and Tsunade. Naruto froze at that. It took him a moment. What? You two are the same age. Jiraiya-chan and Tsunade went out to celebrate Minato becoming Hokage. One thing led to another, and she ended up pregnant. She did not tell Jiraiya. She had left with Shizune in tow, and then something happened. What? Said Naruto. The Kyubi attacked Konoha, and Tsunade ended up in Mount Miyaboku. She gave birth to Tenko here, and the Great Stone Sage predicted something about Jiraiya lineage. And the prediction said that the son of the Toad Sage would cross many lands and meet his father years past, or something close to that by now. When Tenko was born, Pa offered to train and take care of him. Mom visit often. I grew up here, Tenko said, as he scratched the back of his head. Why did she give Tenko over so easily, said Naruto. Pa can be very persuasive when it comes to these kind of things, said Shima, as Naruto looked up at Tenko. It's nice to meet you, he said. I was Jiraiya's last student. Naruto Uzumaki. Tenko blinked. You're my dad, last student. Huh. Thought you'd be older, he said, as Naruto chuckled as he scratched the back of his head. As Pa then came in. Naruto-chan, he said. Oh, I see you met Tenko, he said. Well, that wasn't the reason why you were summoned. Huh? Then why was I summoned, said Naruto. The great Elder Toad Sage has a prophecy for you. He wanted you to come here immediately. Alright, said Naruto. Nice meeting you. Never thought that Jiraiya and Tsunade had a son, he said. Tenko grinned. I'll come with you to the old sage place. Meanwhile, at Konoha, many training was going on to get prepared for the upcoming war that was going to happen, and not to mention the battle with Sasuke. As Sakura was training with Kakashi, Shino was getting aid from his father. Choji was trained with his father and a few other Akimiches. Neji was practicing his Jayugen. Shikamaru was practicing some different Jayugen techniques with his father watching over him. Everyone was training, everyone was getting ready. Meanwhile, Mount Miyaboku, Naruto, Tenko, and Paul was in front of the great Elder Sage. His hands were over a crystal ball. Naruto-chan, Tenko-chan, what are you doing here? You called me to be here, said Naruto. Remember, something about a prediction. It was about me, Naruto. As Jiraiya came over. Jiraiya wanted me to be sealed inside of you. This is a key to your seal. With it, you can perfect that jutsu. Naruto breathed out at that. Oh yes, the Great Toad Sage said. I have to predict your future. Well, you will meet the octopus. An octo what? Said Naruto. The vision is cloudy but I see octopus tentacles. And you will meet a young man with great powers in his eyes. Yes, I know who that is, and Naruto cut him off. And I know what I have to do. You do, Naruto-chan? Yes, I do, said Naruto. Very well, Jiraiya, give him the key. As you wish, Elder. And there it was, the four-element seal. This is the key to open the cage, said Naruto. As Jiraiya nodded, with this you can release the Kyubi fully if you wanted to. Place your hand on the square. What are you waiting for? As Naruto turned his head towards the toad, the Kyubi power works like this. There's two parts of its mind and chakra. To control the Kyubi's power, you gotta pull out the chakra into your own. But it ain't as easy as it sounds. When you pull out the chakra, the mind comes as well. The mind was filled with nothing but hatred that will try to taint you the moment it joins to your body. Along with its potent, deadly chakra, no matter how strong you are, its hatred will latch onto the hatred of your heart and try to take you over. Basically, you have to have a strong enough will with no hatred to completely filter out the mind from the chakra. What happens if that doesn't happen? Asked Tenko. Well, the four design is sealed, so a small bit of the Kyubi's chakra will leak into Naruto's own chakra, but the key here can completely undo that and tap into the Kyubi's chakra, and with it, the full force of the Kyubi's will, said Fukazaku. If that happened, the Kyubi will be completely reborn, even regain its complete Yang chakra that the fourth seal away. You try open the seal already once, said Fukazaku. The four-element seal has been growing weaker and weaker. In Naruto's training, Jiraiya Boy had tried to open a bit more of the chakra into Naruto's system, but that didn't work out so well. What happened after that? Honestly, I don't know, said Naruto. It's true when I thought Orochimaru went to the Kyubi to fully take control. When he was talking about Sasuke and Snap, but I also heard Soccer. That is when Yamato told me to stop relying on the Kyubi's power and focus on my own. Then when I saw Hinata nearly died from fighting in pain, I was so mad, I gave in. The fort then reinforced the seal. But I could lose control again, said Naruto. Tenko looked at him. So, are you gonna take it? The next time I fight Sasuke I need the Kyubi's power, and I won't endanger anyone else again, said Naruto. I can't escape the fact that I'm 90 years Jinchuriki. It's time for me to stop running, said Naruto. I know it took a long time, but I'm ready to control this thing, Dad, said Naruto, as he placed his hand on the seal. The contract is sealed. It's all yours, said Jirotora. Time skip. 5 days later, Land of Lightning. After storing Jirotora in his body after swallowing him, Naruto returned to Konoha with Tenko, as Tenko would be coming with him to the island, as he picked his team of my guy, Iyuba, Hinata, and Tenko. He handed things over to Kakashi to command the alliance until he returned from training. On the boat to the island, Naruto had his eyes closed. As Hinata walked over to him, Naruto-kun, said. As he turned, oh hey Hinata-chan, he said. Thanks for coming on such short notice. Oh, I was happy to do it, she said, with a smile on her face. I have something for you, she said. As she opened her hand, Naruto blinked as he saw the first Hokage necklace that was reconstructed. You repaired it? She nodded. It took a while to find all the pieces. I infused my own chakra into it. I hope that you... Before she could finish, he pulled her into a hug and spun her around. Hinata couldn't believe what was going on as he placed her back down. Thank you so much, he said. This is really important to me. You're welcome, Naruto-kun, she said. Thanks, really. I really appreciate it, he said, as Naruto put the necklace back on. Hinata was proud of herself, really proud that she did not faint right there. She was still weak. As she was close to him, she was happy. Time skip. It will take another day to reach the island, as it was rather awkward. People were wondering who Tenko was, as he looked like a younger Jiraiya. Tenko broke the silence, as him, Hinata, and Naruto sat in a circle. You're wondering why my mom left me with Fusaku and Shima, right? Yeah, said Naruto. Mom was not as together as she is now. She thought that she couldn't handle, and it was hard enough while travel. And it was hard enough to take off Auntie Shizune at that time as well. I think Shizune was the one to take care of her, said Naruto, remembering the state that he found Tsunade in. Wouldn't be inaccurate. I don't want you to think less of her. She was gonna bring me in soon, even though I suck with Minikon ninjutsu. Naruto grinned at that. How about genjutsu? Suck at that big time, but I can break it real well though. What about you? You spent 3 years with my dad. Can you do some of his jutsus? Well, mostly it was to control the Kyubi, and make me into a real ninja the 3 years that I was with him. He did give me the foundation to create the wrestling shuriken, under Kakashi's supervision. Tenko nodded. According to Fusaku Sensei, I'm not good at sage move for some reason. I can do it, but it's at a level that is below that. He then turned his head. And you? The beautiful Hyuga-san, he said. Beautiful? Naruto and Hinata thought. For some reason Naruto twitched a bit, but Hinata was surprised. Well, I'm trying to become stronger, she said. Strangely, her Byakugan activated on its own, and it started to bleed. Hinata-chan, your eye. It's bleeding, said Naruto. Oh, are you okay? Said Naruto. Oh, it's alright, I had Sakura-chan check it out. It's not hurting. She said if it started to hurt, I should come back to her, as she deactivated her Byakugan. Alright, said Naruto. But if it hurts, inform me, okay? As she nodded. Well, I was thinking, I can teach you guys the Rasengan. Why? Tenko said. I want to help Hinata to become stronger. Completing Rasengan made me stronger, so I thought it would be a good way. And the Rasengan's like a family jutsu, so I think your dad had it, and I figured that you must have it as well, said Naruto. As Tenko grinned at that. Okay, sure, he said. I would be honored to learn, said Hinata. Time skip. At Graveyard Mountain, Sasuke was training brutally in Madara's base. Geez, Sasuke, gonna destroy everything again, Sugetsu said, as he was sharpening his blade. You know how hard it is to rebuild it time and time again. Karin sighed. She was more prepared for battle now. She was armed with several bottles of several strange liquids, and she had many explosive tags. Sugetsu, leave him and let him train, Karin yelled at him. Hopefully, he would work that dark chakra out of his system, she thought herself. She put her hand to her cheek, as she remembered when he hit her. He had long forgotten that instant. He didn't seem to care. She was right beside him. He was biting her to heal himself. And when Naruto arrived, he simply stretched out his hands. He didn't even glance towards the direction. She was knocked out cold and woken up by Jugo. Sasuke roared as he remembered that attack that Naruto used on him, as his son grabbed the logs and thrust them into the ceiling. The entire base shook as the others had to move as the debris came down, crashing hard. I know you're training, Sasuke, said Madara as he came in the room, but I don't think that you have to destroy the entire place. How did Naruto criticize that technique, Sasuke said, as he completely ignored Madara. Did Kakashi teach him it, and that new form with his eyes? Damn it, Sasuke shouted. Sasuke, I'm speaking to you, said Madara. Sasuke looked up. Good. Danzo is far enough away from Konoha. Excellent, Sasuke said. All of you, get ready, he said to them, as he looked towards the members of Taka. He was going to end this once and for all. And then, Naruto was next. Never again will Naruto show him up. Back then, he was the stronger one. When they faced at Orochimaru base, Naruto couldn't even touch him, he was nothing to him. And now because of his boost, he thought that he was the stronger one. Well, Sasuke was going to prove him wrong, as he got himself ready. First, to kill Danzo Shamura. He would never forget the sacrifice that Itachi made, while the Leaf Village spit on it. He was going to make sure that he made all of them, every single one of them, suffer for what they did. But guys, let me end this episode right here. If you want to see this person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification so you posted. Remember to share all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over at Anime King of What If Naruto Became the Shadow of Konoha. I enjoyed that, guys. And remember, if you're new and this first time you hear my voice, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King 3. And yes, you heard that correctly. I need up 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm out of here for now, guys. See you guys soon. Remember to go ahead and click that red subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, and tell me if you're new. I'll be commenting back. So I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace out.